Good evening. First, let me apologize for the late start. We had some technical difficulties. I would like to thank you for taking a little bit of your time to join us and learn about MSD's Clarity program. My name is Damon Talley. I'm the Operations Director of Treatment Facilities. I oversee all the treatment operations with MSD at all of our water quality treatment centers. Welcome to our community meeting where we will look forward to walking through MSD's odor control efforts in your community. Before we begin, a little bit about MSD and what we do.
MSD, ensuring safe, clean waterways for Louisville and the surrounding region. MSD does more than you might realize to protect the health and safety of our communities, and the work is really quite extraordinary. It is our mission to provide quality wastewater, stormwater, and flood protection services to protect public health and safety. Let's talk about MSD's 3 key services. First up, wastewater treatment. This is the water we send down the drain from sinks, showers, tubs, and toilets. MSD treats more than 170 million gallons of wastewater every day. 5 water quality treatment centers ensure that the water meets or exceeds regulatory standards before it's released back into local streams and the Ohio River. Next up, stormwater management. What happens when we get heavy rains or after it snows? All of that water has to go somewhere. MSD makes sure the runoff flows into drainage channels to underground pipes that transport water away from homes and businesses and into area creeks, streams, and the Ohio River. Now let's talk about flood protection. MSD flood protection infrastructure includes 29 miles of flood wall, 16 pumping stations, 150 floodgates, and 80 flood wall closures. It all works together, keeping the community safe when river waters rise. MSD also closely monitors water quality within the system to make sure pollutants don't contaminate our waterways. Plus, the innovative technology and engineering of MSD's waterway protection tunnel and underground storage basins further protect our community from dangerous overflows and pollution. There's more to MSD than you imagined, right? MSD is dedicated to our community's health, a cleaner environment, and a better quality of life for all area residents, today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
Again, welcome to our 3rd virtual meeting. I believe one day soon we will be able to get back to face-to-face meetings, but for now, virtual meetings seem to be the norm. Even though we are not face-to-face, we have worked hard to make sure you have opportunities to participate in this meeting. Anytime during the meeting, if you have a question, you can ask it by emailing it to odor@louisvillemsd.org. You can also enter in your question via the chat option on your YouTube feed. We have a team of folks that are actively monitoring these feeds, and we will try to provide an answer to your question before the meeting ends. So when we finish with today's meeting, I would like for you to take away 3 outcomes. I want to introduce the Clarity program and our plan for mitigating these naturally occurring odors. I want to give you a brief background on how odors are generated, and then describe what you can do if you smell an odor. As you just learned, MSD has a big job to do to protect the health and safety of our community. The most constant of those jobs is wastewater management. So a natural phenomenon within any wastewater collection system is the production of odorous gases. MSD proactively addresses and manages sewer odors by the change in naturally occurring weather patterns causing extended periods of dry weather. Compounding lower velocities in the collection system has increased odor levels and odor complaints. Today, we want to introduce our new odor initiative, Smell Something, Say Something. MSD has dedicated staff to help address the odors you are smelling. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the staff members on the odor team. Again, I am Damon Talley, Operations Director of Treatment Facilities, Wes Sidnor, Chief of Government and Public Affairs, Cheryl Lauder, Communications Director, and Robin Birch, Odor Control and Biosolids Program Manager. I will now turn it over to Robin.
Thanks, Damon. I want to tell you a little bit more about our job at MSD as it relates to odors. Today, we spend over $1 million of our operations budget mitigating odors. We monitor the wastewater collection system for odors all the time. We have a full-service odor control contract with a local company that performs real-time monitoring of key locations in our wastewater collection system. They can adjust chemical additions in real time at pump station locations if they detect higher than normal monitoring results. This past year, we just finished an oxygen injection project at one of our major force mains. Initial monitoring results shows a reduction of almost 100% in our gas monitoring. We have a fleet of dedicated staff for cleaning over 20,000 catch basins each year. MSD's sewer system is old. Some of our wastewater collection system dates back to the Civil War. So unfortunately, we are constantly repairing and in some instances, replacing the entire sewer. For those of you traveling downtown this past year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And finally, we have air treatment equipment at our water quality treatment facilities. But with all of this, we still get odor complaints. So MSD is starting an initiative by completing a new odor control master plan to see what else we can do to help mitigate the naturally occurring odors. MSD uses a variety of methods to help mitigate odors. For small air streams, carbon canisters are installed on manholes and pressure relief valves. These are mostly at our smaller pump stations. Using carbon is the simplest form of odor treatment. The carbon attracts and holds onto the odor-causing compounds as the airstream passes through the canister. At some of our larger pump stations in the wastewater collection system, we use chemicals to prevent hydrogen sulfide formation. Bioxide is a non-hazardous chemical that is commonly added to wastewater streams for odor mitigation. As we mentioned before, hydrogen sulfide occurs naturally in the waste stream. This chemical addition creates an environment that allows bacteria to actively consume the dissolved sulfides that are present in the waste stream before they are converted to hydrogen sulfide. We have a few biofilters at our treatment facilities that are a very simple treatment process by exhausting the air through wood chips or large pieces of mulch. Again, bacteria live on the wood chips or the mulch, and they consume the odorous compounds as the airstream passes through. And finally, we use biological scrubbers to help reduce the odor. Biological scrubbers are more complicated to operate. There are a lot more moving parts than biofilters, but the premise is still the same. Inside the vessels is a bed of filter material, and living on the material is our bacteria friend that consumes the odorous compounds as the airstream passes through. One advantage of biological scrubbers over biofilters is you can work with the manufacturer to change the type of filter you have installed to help remove more than just hydrogen sulfide from the airstream. For example, we can also remove mercaptans. So that's a little background on MSD and what we do to help reduce the odors. Now, Damon is going to talk through the collection system.
Thank you, Robin. So next, let's talk about the collection system and why we have these odors. Remember, I mentioned part of our wastewater collection system dates back to the Civil War. The picture on the screen is an original brick and concrete sewer that remains in service today. This is our southern outfall. It's a 27-inch egg-shaped sewer. The main purpose for the wastewater collection system was to remove the waste from the population city to reduce illness. At that time, the raw sewage went directly into the Ohio River and Beargrass Creek. So let's look at the service area map for the Derrick R. Guthrie Water Quality Treatment Center. One thing we want to point out is that In our community, we have older parts of the community served by a combined sewer system where wastewater and stormwater are moved through the same system of underground pipes. It is the oldest service area containing the original sewers that went straight to the river. We call this the combined sewer area. And we have the newer service area where the wastewater and stormwater are moved through different pipes. We call this the separate sewer system. For the Derrick R. Guthrie service area, which is in the gold shaded area you see on your screen, it is in our separate sewer system. So as I mentioned on the previous slide, in a combined sewer, all of the street drains and catch basins are connected to the sewer line in the street. So when it rains, all of the rainwater is transported via the collection system to the treatment plant. So during these wet weather events, the treatment plant can get significantly more flow. While we don't have this combined system here at the Derrick Guthrie service area, we do want to explain why this system experiences some odors. In case you happen to be downtown and other parts of the community in the combined system. See, part of the challenge in some older parts of the community is that the combined system, the catch basins, are tied directly to the sewer pipe, carrying the wastewater to the treatment plant. So in this case, the Morris Foreman Water Quality Treatment Center in West Louisville. And our investigations have determined that there are still a number of locations in the combined system where some of the original catch basins, when they were installed decades ago, were installed without traps. So a trap catch basin works just like the trap underneath your bathroom or kitchen sinks. As long as the trap contains water, the odor from the pipe or the sewer will not back up through the catch basin and out into the atmosphere. In a catch basin that is trapped, any odor cannot escape past the water level. As you can see from the diagram, the trap is below the water line. However, just like the trap in the sink that is not used very often, the water may dry out. This will cause odor in the pipe to travel out of the trap and into the atmosphere. This is what can occur during extended dry periods and during the hot summer months. So in an untrapped catch basin, there is not a water trap. So unfortunately, any sewer odors can travel to the atmosphere. So untrapped catch basins are a major source of collection system odors in the combined system. As we've mentioned, here at the Derrick R. Guthrie service area, you have a sanitary sewer, or sometimes we call it the separate sewer system. Here, the lines that collect the rain runoff from the streets are separated from the sewer lines that go to the Water Quality Treatment Center. The good news with the sanitary system is that we don't see a lot of the same odor issues because wastewater and stormwater are kept separate. In a separate system, there's not the issue of trapped versus untrapped catch basins. Since only rainwater is transported via the pipes connected to the catch basin, there's no sewer gas buildup. But that doesn't mean that these are completely and always odor-free. When catch basins are blocked by materials that shouldn't be there, odor can result. You can help by keeping catch basins in your area free of debris. For catch basins in the combined system, MSD would normally flush the basins with water to help mitigate the odor. For catch basins in the separate system, we can't flush with water because these catch basins drain to the stream. And by flushing with fresh water, we'll be adding chlorinated water to the stream, which is against clean water regulations. This could harm stream aquatic life. So also in this part of the community, we utilize what is called a force main. The easiest way for wastewater to move is by gravity, but when you have an area that has a hilly terrain, this might not be possible. MSD has installed force mains, which is a sealed pipe through which wastewater is pumped in order to move wastewater to the gravity part of the sewer system. Depending on the size and length of the force main, we have to install pressure relief valves to relieve any pressure that may have built up. The Derrick Guthrie collection system does have air relief valves, and they are typically located inside the smaller manholes. So if you happen to detect any odors around a manhole, this could be an issue. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Robin to discuss some of the improvements we've done at the Derrick Guthrie facility.
Thanks, Damon. Derek Guthrie Water Quality Treatment Center, which if you're not familiar, is located off of Lower River Road near the Gene Snyder Freeway. Derek Guthrie Water Quality Treatment Center was built in 1986 to treat 15 million gallons of flow per day. And as you can see, this treatment facility has had a few expansions throughout the years. The most recent expansion allows us to treat up to 60 million gallons of dry weather flow and up to 200 million gallons of wet weather flow. This was MSD's first treatment facility to have a wet weather storage and treatment. Derek Guthrie Treatment Facility is a contact stabilization treatment facility. What this means is once the solids are separated from the liquid stream, we aerate the solids with oxygen to allow the naturally occurring bacteria to begin the process of removing the organic material before discharging the clean water into the Ohio River. In the 2018 plant expansion, a wet weather detention basin was constructed. You can see part of the wet weather basin in the right part of the screen of the aerial picture. This allows MSD to reduce sanitary sewer overflows, a requirement of our consent decree, by capturing up to 25 million gallons of storm flow that otherwise would not have received treatment during a rain event. The primary tanks at the Derek Guthrie Treatment Facility, or the location where the raw wastewater starts the initial treatment process, are completely covered, and the odorous air is cleaned in carbon absorber vessels before being exhausted to the atmosphere. During the 2018 expansion, we also added odor control carbon absorbers on the wet weather pump station and the screening building. Prior to 2021, all of the solids separated from the wastewater stream at the Derek Guthrie Treatment Center were pumped to Morris Foreman Water Quality Treatment Plant. That was about 1.5 million gallons of solids a day. Early in 2021, Morris Foreman had a failure of their biosolids processing equipment. This forced MSD to procure a third party to set up a temporary solids handling at the Derek Guthrie facility while we designed and built a permanent facility. In the early stages of the solids handling project, the process was located outside, and I'll admit it did have some odors associated with it. We built a second temporary phase of dewatering, the green building you see in the picture, which helped with the odor. And now there's a permanent building that is completed, and it's just north of the green building you see in the picture. This permanent facility and the wash down pad for the biosolids containers have helped mitigate the odors during this past year. MSD is very proud that the Derek Guthrie Treatment Facility is one of our 4 treatment centers to have earned an Operational Excellence Award from the Clean Water Professionals of Kentucky and Tennessee. It's quite a difficult designation to earn, as the U.S. EPA and Kentucky Division of Water issue all water quality treatment centers a permit with very stringent water quality treatment criteria to meet prior to discharging treated water into the receiving streams. And to qualify for this award, the facility can have no more than 1 permanent exceedance in any given year. 3 other MSD facilities earn this designation as well, are Cedar Creek, High Creek, and Floyd Swart treatment facilities. The odors we're talking about are naturally occurring when sewage or other materials decompose. It's a natural part of the wastewater treatment, and it's inevitable in our business. But as we've talked about it, MSD goes to great lengths to minimize these odors as much as possible. And while we can't completely eliminate them, we can help manage them with your partnership.
The mission of Louisville MSD is ensuring safe, clean waterways through innovative sewer and wastewater treatment. But our work doesn't stop there. The MSD Clarity Program is our initiative to reduce odors that naturally occur when sewage and other materials break down. While we can't stop all of these odors, we can better manage them with your help. If you ever experience sewer odors, let us know by calling 502-540-6000 or by visiting louisvillemsd.org/odor. Together, we can clear the air.
You can help us by visiting us online at louisvillemsd.org/odor. And if you report an odor, you can click on that link there and it'll take you to our odor reporting form. Now back over to Damon. He's going to finish up the presentation.
Thanks, Robin. So how is MSD going to mitigate this in the future? As part of our notice of violation and agreed order with the Louisville Air Pollution Control District, MSD is developing a district-wide odor control master plan. This master plan is going to systematically look at all of our water quality treatment centers, pump stations near odor hotspots, 1,000 miles of the wastewater collection system, and the 3 force mains we maintain. This process began in the fall of 2019. MSD received a notice of violation for odors in the collection system, specifically odors in the Park Duval and surrounding areas in West Louisville. This is the first notice of violation for the collection system MSD has ever received. We asked why this could happen, and the answer is the weather, with remarkably dry weather that summer. But we took that as the starting point of the development of our master plan. And phase 1 has been focusing on Morris Foreman, as the surrounding areas in the combined sewer system have been seeing any number of odor issues. Now, as we head into this year, phase 2 and beyond will branch out to the remainder of the treatment centers and their collection system, including the Derrick Guthrie service area. A key component of our master plan is communication with you as our customer. We want our customers to better understand odors, how it's caused, and then how to report it when you notice something. We have developed easier tools for you to be able to report an odor. We have updated our website and our literature to help educate you on the sources of odor and what you can do to help mitigate odors. So please visit Louisville MSD/odor and check out our new odor page and follow MSD on social media. One last thing, if you could, please take the survey for us. We want to hear from you. On the screen is the link. It will also be available on the odor page at louisvillemsd.org/odor and in the YouTube chat. Again, we'd like to thank you for your time this evening to listen to our new Clarity program. If you have any questions and you have not already entered it in the chat or sent us an email, please take the opportunity to do that now.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry about that. So I have looked for questions in the odor at louisvillemsd.org email box and on the YouTube chat, and I do not see any questions at this time. Robin or Damon, while we're waiting to see if there's any questions, I thought it's very interesting how we use what nature gives us to break down the solids. Could you go into any more detail on that?
Sure, I'll give it a stab. A lot of people don't realize at treatment facilities, there's really a lot of science and physics that take place. There's a natural phenomena of bacteria that live at all of the treatment facilities, and it's their job to basically eat the solid particulates. They consume the solid particulates that help break down the solids so we can further separate them from the liquid stream. So it's really a natural phenomena that's quite interesting to me.
And where do we get those microorganisms?
Well, they kind of live in us.
Very interesting. Supplied by each of us.
That's right.
Yeah. And I know that right now you had mentioned something about the dryers, and but if I think that Louisville Green is about to come back online again, if you could maybe touch on that and the importance.
Yes, we're in the final stages of our replacement project at Morse Foreman to replace the thermal dryers that we originally installed back in the early 2000s. So this is phase 2, and we're happy to have them back in service. So Louisville Green, which is our fertilizer product, will be available here soon. We're just finishing commissioning our train 1, and we'll be starting on train 2 probably in a few weeks.
Thank you. So that's what happens to the solids is that hopefully the majority of them very shortly will be made into very useful fertilizer. I do have one question in the chat. What is the one thing you would like customers to help you to do to identify odors in the community?
You know, it's kind of with the presentation is whenever you smell an odor, you know, MSD is staffed 24/7. I mean, you've got the website and our odor page, or you can call customer service. You can call the simple numbers 502-540-6000 to report an odor. I think also you've got an app that was developed that APCD uses, and we are also linked into it. It's Smell My City, that we get email links directly from that. And the good thing is we've worked with the developer to be able to show us when someone calls in an odor complaint, it'll pinpoint that location, and either Robin or I are able to click on that. And using Google Maps, you know, it's helped us tremendously with some of them where we can kind of just pan the street and we'll notice a vented manhole, or right in front of the house that reports the odor, there is a catch basin right there on the curb. And then again, as we mentioned, in the separate system and even in the combined system, when you cut your grass, don't blow your grass clippings. When you rake your leaves, don't push your leaves into the catch basins. Pick up the trash around catch basins, because as we said, they'll get in there and decompose. You know, the good thing is in the combined system, we do have staff that it is part of their job to go around annually to clean out the catch basins. But again, in the separate basins, separate system, we don't have anyone to clean those out. So when you put materials down there, they will decompose. And again, even though they don't have traps or aren't untrapped, when that material decomposes, it can create that rotten egg smell.
Right.
Sorry, and the last thing too is a lot of times when we get odor complaints, you know, the good thing about our customer service, they'll ask, is it inside or outside? And sometimes when people say it's only inside, a lot of times is that second or third bathroom that doesn't get used all the time. You don't flush the toilet, you don't run water in the sink. That could be a source of your odors, especially during the summer months.
Right. I find it very interesting that in the newer parts of the city, what we would call the separate system, that those catch basins, if you do see someone putting their grass clippings or whatever, sweeping them in from the street, that is going to decay and cause odor issues. And like I believe, Damon, that was part of your presentation, that you can't just pull up one of our water trucks and put water in there like you can in the older parts of the city, where that water will go and be treated before it's put into the river. Because if you do it in those parts, that's just a straight pipe to a waterway, and you can't put chlorinated water in there. So it's really important for folks to not put things into the catch basins that other than natural rainwater. I think I don't see any other questions in the chat or in the email. I would like to just remind people to go to the SurveyMonkey link at, if you can't find it, if this disappears, you can go to LouisvilleMSD.org/odor, and you'll find the SurveyMonkey link on that page as well. And we would appreciate you taking the time to fill out this very short survey. It provides us with valuable information.
Again, go ahead.
You want to close out the meeting, David?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to say again, we appreciate you taking your time to listen to us, introduce the Clarity Program. And again, we can always use your help. Cheryl has said, and we've said throughout the presentation, you can go to LouisvilleMSD.org/odor. Again, or you can call 502-540-6000 to report orders. Again, thank you for joining us and have a good evening.